The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed and Happiness, the Field of Behavioral Finance, heavily researched at institutions like Harvard and Stanford, makes one core argument: financial decisions are driven more by psychology and emotion than by pure math and logic. This realization helps explain why smart, educated people often make irrational financial choices. The foundational truth: behavior trumps intelligence. The core lesson from Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money is that financial success is a soft skill, where how you behave is more important than what you know. You need a stable temperament and disciplined habits over a high IQ, the survival mindset. Getting vs staying wealthy. Getting wealthy often involves optimism and taking risks. Staying wealthy requires an entirely different skill set, a combination of frugality and paranoia. The focus is on financial survival and building a room for error margin of safety to survive unpredictable tail events, crises, recessions, or a personal emergency. The unintuitive power of compounding. Compounding is simply the consistent, uninterrupted repetition of good, and often modest, returns over a very long time. It does not require massive short-term gains. The power is in the duration, not the intensity. As Housel notes, good investing is about earning pretty good returns you can stick with for the longest period of time. Money and happiness, redefining value. The correlation between income and happiness is positive but modest after a baseline level of comfort is achieved. To truly buy happiness, research suggests you must spend in specific, psychologically effective ways. Money buys control over your time. The highest dividend money pays isn't luxury, but the ability to control your time, to reduce the hours you spend doing things you don't like or that cause stress. This is often cited as the key to financial well-being. This is especially relevant to an entrepreneur working on ventures like Elemental Soul and Vile Ivode, as financial health can directly impact the ability to manage your schedule and focus on passion projects. Buy experiences, not just things. Spending money on experiences, trips, events, courses leads to more enduring satisfaction than spending it on material goods. Experiences are more easily integrated into our personal narrative, provide shared social connection, and are harder to compare to someone else's. Spend on others. Prosocial spending. Research from Harvard shows that spending money on other people's gifts, donations provides a more significant and lasting boost to the spender's happiness than spending it on themselves. The pursuit of the good life, relationships over riches. The Harvard study of adult development, the longest study on human happiness, concludes that the single most important predictor of a long, happy life is good, close relationships, not money or fame. This reinforces the value of using financial freedom, time control, to invest in people, financial decisions, and cognitive biases. Your personal financial habits are often rooted in a unique and often irrational psychological framework. Wealth is invisible. Rich is a high current income demonstrated by visible assets, flashy cars, large homes. Wealth is income saved, invested, and not yet spent. It is invisible. Spending money to impress people is the fastest way to have less money, as your audience is often only impressed by the item, not by you. The sunk cost and loss aversion traps. Loss aversion dictates that the pain of a loss is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of an equivalent gain, which leads investors to make the irrational choice to sell winners too early but hold on to losers too long. Disposition effect. The sunk cost fallacy is the tendency to irrationally continue a bad endeavor because of the time, money, or effort that has already been invested and cannot be recovered. The systemic challenge, money creation and the debt dilemma. The debt-driven monetary system, according to certain economic perspectives, like those highlighted in some TEDx talks, a core systemic problem, stems from how commercial banks create most of the money in the economy, not from reserves, but out of thin air when they issue a loan. The invisible problem of interest, because banks create the principal but not the interest needed to pay back that loan. There is perpetually more collective debt in the world than there is money to pay it off. This mathematically forces the economy to continually seek growth, more loans, just to keep the money supply from shrinking, creating an inherently unstable system and fueling a perpetual cycle of financial and social pressure. This model exacerbates inequality, as perpetual interest payments are a guaranteed transfer of wealth, and can steer society toward short-term profitability, more lending, more consumption rather than long-term sustainability. The psychological burden of this debt-driven instability manifests as widespread financial stress and anxiety among individuals.